Alright, hi there. These comments are for N, and I am Michael, the founder owner and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. You completed my integrated speaking practice test number 1. So in the beginning you say the reading passage and the listening lecture about some business meeting information. You need a verb in there first of all. You might say explain. However, that doesn't exactly explain the purpose. So let me show you a model essay that would be a little bit better in terms of answering this question. So in this one it says, the reading passage recommends that all employees participate in all meetings, read all materials, and bypass the steps of the writing process when writing reports, but the lecture questions the efficiency of these suggestions. So from this introduction, it's very clear that the information in the lecture is different from the information in the reading, so you need to explain that relationship so we can understand the purpose of both the reading and the listening passage. Let's go to your next paragraph. So first, the reading passage states that all business, you want to say here not succeeds, but I think you can say this, all successful businesses have writing processes. However, is that the first point in the reading passage? So let's take a look at that. Okay, the first point in the reading passage, I'll show you again the sample, is according to the reading passage, companies need to schedule as many meetings as possible since they are an excellent way of dealing with problems and staying current with modern work-related technology. That's what you want to say about the reading passage. The third point in the reading passage is talking about the writing process, not the first point. Okay, you say also, employees must attend all meetings to know about their company issues. However, you can just say here if you want, the lecture. The lecture says that attending all meetings is not important because internal meetings could be wasting time. Also, you might want to say here, you need a subject. Employees you might say should try to decline meetings. Then you might say this, and instead maybe not conduct the work, how about communicate? So and communicate by phone or through email. So I think that would be a little bit better. So employees should try to decline meetings, or, I don't know what to say and here, or instead communicate by phone or through email. Okay, let's take a look at your next paragraph. You have the reading passage states, probably use the connector here, that preparing reading materials for the meeting helps employees perform their job. Now this is where you're running into trouble here, is you have to be careful. And if we look at the actual, this is the actual reading passage, it says, employees should be provided with supplementary reading materials, not just preparing materials, but that's not really the main point. Here is the main point. It's actually the last sentence of the paragraph, because the assertion here is that employees are encouraged to read all documents in their entirety. Notice how you have the subject here. You have here employees, and then you have read all documents in their entirety. That is the key point that you should have stated about the reading passage. So the fact that you missed that means that you're having some trouble understanding main points from paragraphs, because you're trying to look for what's called assertions or arguments. Okay, so this part is actually inaccurate. You didn't really explain the most important point of the reading passage. You see, on the other hand, the speaker says preparing materials and too much reciting will stop the employees to pay attention. Also, skipping less relevant points. So you didn't really finish this idea. So what are you trying to say here? So let's go back to the reading passage. So it says, or actually the lecture here. So it's saying that you don't have to read the full text of everything you come across. So it's saying it's important to read maybe just a small part of the article. So focus on the most important ideas you have here while skipping sections that are less relevant. Right? So again, you're not exactly capturing the most important points. So you could finish this sentence by saying skipping less relevant points, maybe, according speaker. You might say is an effective reading strategy. So you could say something like that. Oh, thanks. So you might say something like that. So skipping less relevant points, according to the speaker, is an effective reading strategy. You can probably say it that way, and that focuses more on what is being said in the lecture. Okay, let's go to the last one. Say the writer focuses on the writing process in meetings, which is all employees should write the documents at once, all at once. But the speaker says employees should separate the main steps in the writing process. For example, first, notice how you have employees here, right? But then you're shifting to the you here. You don't want to do that. What if you said they should separate the main steps in the writing process? How about this? By what if you said this? By composing an outline here, and then you can say writing a rough draft. Then you can put revising, and then something like this. So now we've solved all of your sentence structure problems there. So again, but the speaker says employees should separate the main steps in the writing process by composing an outline, writing a rough draft, revising, and then rephrasing ideas. Okay, so we're good. Now, the next question is, what is your score? That's what we got to figure out right now. So on this one, it's going to be tough. I don't think you can score in the 4 range here. So I think it's not too bad. I'm going to put you at 3. 3.0 out of 5, or 20 points out of 30. So in this case, we have what's called a complete, inaccurate, or imprecise connection of some of the ideas in the lecture to the ideas in the reading passage. So you had some problems exactly expressing, I think, the purpose of the reading and the listening passage. And we saw this manifested I think, in your introduction. And there was also some confusion when you were talking about the reading passage in the second paragraph. All right, so what does that mean for our class? If you go to the syllabus on page 9, right, so on this one, you got 3.0 out of 4. That's going to put you at 76% on this particular assignment. Now, what you can do is take a look at the sample. I will put a model essay next to my comment so you can kind of see what you need to do in order to answer this question a little bit better to get a higher score. So read that sample, and if you want, it's not a requirement, but if you want to complete some integrated writing practice tests between now and the final exam, you can surely do that. So you just go to my website, find an integrated writing practice test, you can complete it, then send me an email and I will send it over to my teaching assistant who will score your essay within about 24 hours. Alright, so I recommend that you complete maybe 2 or 3 additional writing practice tests before you do the final exam. That's going to help prepare you, get you a little bit better with this kind of writing.